So it's time, 10 o'clock Japan. So we're gonna start Teaching International 6th edition. We have a guest from Mexico this time. And today's MC is Shivan from India, but he's studying in Nagoya.
Yeah, I'm studying at Nagoya Institute of Technology. It's my last year. So welcome to T Chan International and good morning, everybody. So today we are here with the T Chan International Mexico. So what's Mexico famous for? And I just got some pictures of Mexico, and from my personal experience, I think tacos and tequila are really good things in Mexico that everyone needs to try. Yeah, and yeah, it has a very great culture. Like the Mayan civilization was based there, and some great festivals like the Mexican Cultural Fest. I think it's called a parade of the death or something. And we have the mariachi bands, and it's like a Latin way of lifestyle. So it's all funny. So here is the Mexican startup ecosystem. So this is about the Mexican startup ecosystem. We just described the basic details here. Like Mexico is the second largest startup market in Latin America after Brazil. And it is expected to grow like 16% annually, with fintech being the largest sector. And being a developing country, it has more emphasis on like energy, society, and governance sectors, mostly in case of like VC investments and like angel investments from outside. The problems occurring in this Mexican startup ecosystem is like pre-startup funding, that because of like lack of government support sometimes, and the incubator and accelerator facilities are like absent. We can see that from the chart here how the investments are growing in Mexico over the years, and it has been a great jump. So yeah, and like we have a guest here to explain about these investments, which is Gerardo from Mexico itself, and he has owned like 3 startups right now, and he's working with a Japanese company to build some startups, some technology here. So welcome, Gerardo here. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm going to share. Well, my name is Gerardo. I'm right now studying my 2nd semester in university. I have 19 years old. And well, as they already told you, I'm CEO and founder of, well, what is called Hyperion. And here's a quote that I love a lot. And it has determined a lot my path through entrepreneurship and organizations. And is, if you have a thorn, turn it into a seed and start something new. And well, I'm going to talk to you a bit about my trajectory. I start with a non-profit organization in 2017 here in Mexico. That day we have here an earthquake, and unfortunately the building that was in front of my school fell down. From that moment, I decided to take action, and I knocked the door of one of the buildings that were like building or in that moment, and I talked with the responsible, and I asked that what if they open and we start receiving donations to help this earthquake. And that's how it all started. Then I started from the NGO to the Focaris in Tanac to implement construction 5.0 systems. And right now we have just started a part in fintech, since we noticed that, okay, we have the construction problematic here in Mexico, but also we have the financial problems, and we are seeking to give financial help to support the construction facility. And well, along my trajectory, I have worked with the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is part of the United Nations. I have received funding from United Nations and work with International Baccalaureate to accelerate the project. And that's a bit about the trajectory. And today I would like to talk to you about what is Focaris in Tanac. That is right now the one that is having the biggest hit of all the organizations. Focaris in Tanac was born, as they already introduced it, here in Mexico. One of the biggest communities or culture is the Mayan. So there is a place in Mexico that is called San Antonio Ticuchi in Mérida that is part of the Mayan community. There I met Doña Eulogia. Doña Eulogia, every day, no matter what, she visits the nearby kindergarten. That is the one in the picture. And no matter what, she always visits this kindergarten just to talk with the kids, spend time with them, and just connect. And what I noticed is that unfortunately, on her way back, she encounters this. Doña Eulogia doesn't have a decent housing, either access to potable water. This is Doña Eulogia's home. And that's the point where I started this venture in construction. And it's like Doña Eulogia in this picture. There in Mexico, there are 14 million people that don't have the means to either buy or build a home. And according to United Nations, by 2025, we will need 1 billion more homes. Therefore, the way that we build and the way that we adapt to these new construction systems will be determined to decide the future of our society. And well, something that this problematic has is that at the beginning, as an entrepreneur student, I had a lot of pressure because I wanted everything to be perfect. And I thought that, okay, the prototype has to be perfect, the MVP has to be perfect, the investigation has to be perfect. And I don't know, at some point of trying to be perfect, I lost a lot of time. So what I suggest you and will recommend you is that it doesn't have to be perfect every time. You have already started, if you are, well, right now with Tongali or are starting your venture or have an entrepreneurship project, it doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning. And one of the first points that I encounter with this project and the construction is at the beginning. And the first pitch I gave to a former organization, they told me, I didn't understand your project. And well, for the ones that are pitching, this is the worst thing that can happen to you. I have like 3 minutes to pitch them and they didn't understand what I said. And right now I laugh. At that moment I was like, oh my God, I needed that funding. But at some point you have to understand that from that point and from making this kind of mistakes, you understand where you are going. And right now, with this idea, this project, I was named #1 Mexican national entrepreneur. And our entrepreneurship project, Focari Santana, was named #1 entrepreneurship project also nationally. And right now we are competing in the Holt Prize. That is, well, a lot of media call it the Nobel for students. I recommend you to apply. The Holt Prize is a prize that gives you $1 million in funding. And we were able to pass to the next stage with this venture. And it's not only with my experience, it's like in general experience and in general, like the startup ecosystem that doesn't need necessarily to be perfect. I have here two really good examples. The first one, I think everybody knows him, is Steve Jobs. It's the founder of Apple with a company called Segway. Segway has all the perfect conditions, has the technology, the innovation. They have an initial investment of $100 million. They have the help of Steve Jobs, and they didn't make it. They have everything perfect. They focus on having everything perfect. And right now, Segway is only focused for policemen that are in the plazas. So they didn't grow as expected. And on the other hand, here is my favorite CEO of all the startups, and his name is Brian Chesky. Is the founder and CEO of Airbnb. And he didn't have the perfect model. He didn't have the perfect idea. His idea was really strange because it was, okay, you are going to rent strangers your home. So, there's something that doesn't fit in that idea, and he made it. His company is right now valued in $100 billion. So it doesn't have necessarily to be perfect at the beginning. You have to start iterating during the process. But something that has to be well established since the beginning is the why. And well, I'm going to go deeper into what is Focari Santana and what we do, how we do it. But first, I want you to introduce this model. I think that you may have seen it, but it basically focuses on why you do it, how you do it, and why you do it. But you have to give like specific focus on the why, because as a founder, and especially if you're studying, there are a lot of times that you will be like, okay, I have the homework, but also I have to go parties, but also I have to have my extra life, but I have to give my deliveries, and I have to talk with the professor, but also I'm starting my own company. I have to pitch for, so you have a lot of these things. If you have a well-structured why, in these dark moments when you feel overwhelmed that they will happen, you will remember, okay, why am I doing this? In my case, there has been a lot of moments that I have to decide, either I have to deliver a homework, or either I have to go with an angel investor. And it is sometimes overwhelming, but something that gives me a lot of peace is like, okay, why I do this? What am I trying to change the construction industry? It's because of people like Doña Eulogia, that they don't have home. So if you have this strong why, you, number one, you're going to empower yourself, and number two, you're going to empower your team. So if you have this, for example, I always tell my team that, dudes, I don't know how, but we are going to change the construction industry. Maybe a prototype isn't working. Like right now, we are trying with a nano cement, where we implement particles of carbon to give more strength to the construction materials. We're having troubles with that prototype, and I always tell them like, okay, maybe it isn't working, but always focus on the why. And our why, as I told you, is this one. It's 40 million families do not have the means to either buy or build a home. And then that you have this why, you can start with the how. In our case, how we do this is we work with farmers. We buy their organic waste as raw material. We process it to obtain the starch. And with this starch, we develop all our solutions that came from exablocks that are construction units, Lego type, and also paintings for the industry. And at our end of our chain, we have a financial support for communities so they can really access to housing. And then you have the what, that in my case is construction materials. In these are exablocks that we are building. We have a patented on process right now, and we combine the starch that we obtain from the agricultural process with natural rubber to have this stable construction. And well, something that is really interesting about these exablocks is that in their external shape, our team has developed a biopolymer that is capable of capturing the rainwater and the humidity in the environment. So it will help not only having a housing, it also helps people to access to water, like Doña Eulogia, so they can truly access. And basically that's how we have been working in this project with Focaris. Right now we are in talks with the Japanese government to start exploring opportunities out there to processing agricultural waste. And this part of the, well, of the notes and all the achievements that we have in the organization. We were, as I told you, #1 Mexican entrepreneur. But I think that more important than all this, and I want to go back to the basics, is the why. And by having all these articles and by having all this like public notice, something that outstands about each of this is that we are helping people having a home. And a lot of people that I have talked with, they were like, dude, I didn't know that a lot of people doesn't have the opportunity to access to home. So we are making awareness about the problematic. And that is what empowers a project at the end of the day. And well, you're studying. And I want to put this like raw because it's a reality. I'm studying, probably you're studying, you're finishing your studying, or you also started like me. And you have to have this balance between work, life, school. It's not easy. And I'm going to give like a really controversial opinion, maybe. It's impossible to achieve this balance, but what you can have and what has worked with me is like when you focus on one part of this, either work, life, or school, give your 100% in it. Maybe in one day you won't have the balance that, okay, today I have like the work, the life, and school like the same level. But today I have to deliver this homework, or today I have to study for this exam, and I'm giving my 100%. And the next day, maybe you have an international competition, a national competition about a startup. So I am the work and I'm giving my 100% on it. And the same with life. When you are out with friends, when you are just chatting or with your family, give the 100% to them. So arrange, what has worked with me is to arrange everything. So when I am in business meetings, I give my 100% this business meetings, and I told my family like, okay, give me just a second. I can like really work another thing right now. I am this, and the same with each part. And also something that will really help you is building a great team. This is part of the team that is working with the research and development, specifically with Focaliza Tanaj. This is the team, and build a great team. The best way you have that to have this support and have this flexibility to focus 100% is number one, have a great co-founder in each of your ventures. Have a great support, because a co-founder is not just a person that will give value to your project. It's a person that when you are down, when you have these lockdowns that will happen, will be your main support. So number one recommendation, build a great team. Number two, as I already told you, fully focus on each of parts of the things that you're doing at that moment. And number three, you won't change the world overnight. This is a quote that at the beginning caused me a lot of troubles, but a mentor gave it to me. He's right now working with some of the biggest capital venture companies in the world. He has worked with Y Combinator, and well, he's like a big dude. And he told me like, you won't change the world overnight, and just calm down. In Spanish, I like to say it's carrera, no carreritas. And what it means, it's okay. It's your story, but you don't have to go that fast. You know, you want to change the world, but you have, dude, you have 19 years old. It's like you have a lot of life to work in this project, to iterate your systems. So number one, define your KPIs, that are the key points you want to focus in each problem. But give it time to cook. Number two, be consistent. You won't change the world overnight, but you have to be consistent in achieving these goals. Month by month, okay, let's be realistic. And what can I do this month? How am I going to start working this month? For example, in one of the ventures that is called Meshify, it's part of the group. We have the goal that this month we have to achieve 100 more users in our digital platform. So we have that goal that is achievable, that is realistic, and that we know that we can achieve it right now. Right now we have, by 18, we have 83 new users for this month. So it's achievable. And number three, dream big. I think that this also told me a great friend. His name is Robbie, and he has just raised a seed funding of $4 million. So yeah, he did a really good job out there. And he told me that at the beginning, when he started talking with angel investors, and he told them like, dude, I'm going to be the next unicorn startup. I'm going to change the technology industry. They laugh and they told him that, oh, dude, can't do that. Or a lot of people are going to laugh at your dreams, but dream big. Be able to dream big and go step by step to achieve this big goal. And well, I want to focus now in another great point about that is part of studying and have this entrepreneurship journey. That is the age, the fear, and the validation. Let's be realistic. We are working with things that 90% of startups fail. This is data, this is raw data, but 90% of startups fail. So how are we going to have I don't want to fail the university and either want to fail like the startup. So how you mix both points, and is enjoy every single part of this journey. It's what I can tell you. From my experience, I do it for the anecdote. It has been a great journey since right now. We don't have like a normal company with all this stuff of startups. You won't, and you will never have the certainty that your idea will work, but you have to have the determination that every step I do, every step I work on, I will grow, and every step I do, I will learn. And if I have to iterate my model, I will iterate my model. At the beginning of Ocaris, we didn't work with organic waste. We use an open patent that we use plastic bottles to build a home. And after that, we noticed like, dude, a lot of people can do this with bottles. So what about if we have a bit of complexity in this? And another mentor that is called Fernando told me that it's important to have projects that are simplejos. It's called in Spanish. What it means is that it has to be simple enough to execute, but also have a layer of complexity, so they are not going to be replicable. And here, another part that I think a lot of founders and a lot of friends are worrying about is the fear. Like, dude, I have the next 1 billion idea, and I have the fear that if I go out and I pitch to angel investors and venture capitalists, or go out with friends and tell them my idea, they're going to steal my idea. And this is a big fear among founders. And what I can tell you about this is, if it is a great idea, people will tell you that you are crazy. If it is a great idea, they will tell you, no, dude, you can't do that, or dude, it's impossible. Venture capitalists are going to kick you. And if it is a great idea and you are determined to work in this idea, at the end of the day, you're going to make it because of the determination that you have. And doesn't really, like in our age, like 19 on your mid-20s, it's like most parts of the venture capitalists and investors will invest in you as a project, not like your venture or your company, but you as a person. You have the ability to communicate. If you have the leadership ideas, they a lot of times will tell you like, dude, I don't know if your company will work, but I know that you will work because you have the determination. So we are going to invest in you. And I know that no matter what happens, you will iterate your model until it will work. So don't have this fear of telling or validating with people, of going out and sell something. Just focus and do it for the anecdote and start talking with people. What I can tell you is I have met a lot of great people by having this journey. I went to stuff that I will never imagine, like, for example, going to one event in the Fashion Week because of sustainability. So like random stuff like that, to going and meet, for example, here it's Theo, that he is all the way, well, they're from Japan, and Mexico and Japan are far away. So I will never imagine going to Japan. And it will change your conception, not only about life, but your conception about yourself. And just don't limit your minds to dream big. And well, that's all. Here's my contact information. If everything or any question, or if you just want to talk about and have recommendations about what I'm still like working in this, there are a lot of paths that I have to go on and I have to learn. I'm still learning, but what I have lived, I can talk with you, I can help you, and also have this interaction. Like, I think it's real great. So here's my contact information. And yeah, I don't know if you have any questions.
For the listeners, we like he's amazing. He's only 19 years old, but so many things he did.
Exactly.
Like I think like any guest, like I think if there are any questions, like please, like I can unmute you, or like you can put in a chat Q&A and whatever. you want, then it's a limited time that you can access. Anybody, if not, then
It's okay. I think we should go first.
yeah.
It
But
will
like
be pretty
anytime now, please, like the audience, please. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, I see. So I was like pretty interested in how did you find your co-founders? Because you told me that building a team is pretty important when it comes to like building a startup. Like you were from scratch and you are from a finance background, and you know actually you need someone that knows about the technology and the business side, and you need some mentors as well, because you still don't you're not at the stage that you can build it by yourself, and you always need some help from somewhere. So how did you meet your founders, and how did you convince them? How did you meet your mentors, and how did you convince them to come to your team?
Well, about like the mentor part, I think something that was really important at the beginning was telling them why I was doing this and what was like my main motivations among this project. Because let's be like real. When I started this, I was still in junior high school. So I was like 13 years old when I started the NGO. And a lot of people and a lot of like businessmen that I talked to at that age were like, "Oh, dude, you're so cute," and I know that they helped me because it was cute for a kid to trying to change. So at the beginning, I think that is not having this fear to tell people that you want to change the world, and like they have to perceive yourself like really determined to change. And I'm going to also, to be honest, I always like send 1,000 mails before one being answered. So it's like have this determination of, hey, how are you? I noticed that you are doing XYZ thing. I would like to know your opinion about this. Do you have 5 minutes to talk? Or this is my project, like being like extremely determined. And I don't know if it's either bothering with the mail stuff, but I have this determination. And about the co-founders, a quote that I really like is, don't make your friends co-founders, make your co-founders friends. And I think that's something that has happened to me. And I met my co-founder with Focari Santana in an international competition called Enactus. So I just went there as a viewer, and they have like this networking event, and there I met her. And my other co-founder in the venture of the financial stuff, I met him in Japan in this project that we came to Japan. So I met him there and we connect. So it's not having this fear to talk with people, and you will know when you have this bonding with your ideals. So it's more about having this big why, telling them this big why. And if they seem motivated, for example, one of my co-founders is like really, really like determined. And I don't know, sometimes it's like, dude, please relax. Like we still have a lot of time, but he's always sending me messages. And it's part of telling them your mission of life or what you want to pursue in life. And they will have this bonding. And also you have to search the people that have this bonding, but also the technical part. Because in my case, there are a lot of things that I don't know about nanotechnology and biotechnology, because there are like stuff that is really complicated, because we're working with molecules and a lot of chemical parts. So having these meetings, for example, we have the Venture Cafe that I think you also have there in Japan. It's going there, meet new people, talk with these people, and you will know their background, and then share your vision, and maybe there will be the bonding. But I think there is not like the perfect way to meet them. You will not only like connect with them, and also there are great platforms. For example, Y Combinator has one platform inside their website that is called Y Combinator Co-Founders, and I have friends that have applied and have made their co-founders out there. So there are wide of options to meet their co-founders also.
Thank you for a pretty interesting insight. Seems like they really like 13-year-olds coming to the companies, helping 13-year-olds in Mexico. It was a pretty funny conversation. Like you came as a 13-year-old and people thought that you were a child or something.
Yeah.
It was.
Could you let me know, like, how do you see your future? Like, what do you want from now on? Like, about yourself and also about your company.
Yes. Well, why I decided to like arrange all the little projects that I have, the niche projects, in fintech, in biotechnology, and arrange all of them in Gperion was because I think that there is not only like one solution for a problematic. We were extremely focused on, okay, biotechnology is the answer to solve the housing problem. But then we noticed that also the part of fintech is necessary since we need to give them the financial stability so they can buy a home and buy our materials, you know? So that's mainly why I decided to arrange all in this holding company. And how I see Gperion, I will first want to keep growing it step by step. I start, right now we have the goal to achieve 100 users this month. And 2 years by now, we set to be having like growing outside of Mexico, not only Focaris, but the whole holding company going outside of Mexico also to impact other countries. And it's July, I'm going to New York City to seek for investment for the whole like Gperion venture. So what I seek is raise a seed funding that will enable us to keep growing and keep maturating the technology, because mostly what we are working on is hard tech. So we require investment to develop the hard tech and eventually launch it to market. So I seek the company being like my biggest dream is to have an IPO about this company and demonstrate that sustainable projects can deal and can work with New York City and can work with San Francisco. So that's like our main goal as an organization, is to be the first sustainable company to be able to do an initial public offering. So that's like the goal from, I don't know, like 15 years by now, but it's like something that I really have like focus and dreams, like to give the problematics we're working with the correct outspoken. So like everyone can see the problematics that we are working on. And I think that's the way that we can achieve that. And personally, I think at some point the project grow like bigger than me because we're working with more people and we're working with communities that don't have, well, as I already told, don't have a lot of financial support. And how I see myself, I think at any point empowering this journey of Gperion. And at some point, I'm not like the specific person to achieve that goal. I understand that it's not like me being at the front of Gperion, but having like the problematic like really work with. And I plan to, well, last along with the Gperion, grow it, and I'm determined to have this as my project of life.
Wow. Thank you. You go.
Okay, I mean, so yeah, thank you for an elaborate response on that. So one more question is like people in general, even if I go for like startup competitions and all, people are not used to like pitching and giving good presentation is such a great skill when it comes to anywhere going to, like even working in big companies and anywhere. So you told me that you had some pitching problems with the first tech, and some people actually said the investor that was looking at your pitch didn't even understand what you were telling. So how did you cope up with that, and how did you make a presentation that even went to like the Hult Prize, and you did a presentation over there? If you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, at the beginning, I'm going to be honest, it was devastating. Like for me, I had this 3-minute presentation to pitch, and at the end that they told me, I don't understand what you just said. It was like, oh, dude. Like I was going down, 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 down. But again, what kept me up was the part of the problematic. And I understood that the system and our business model that we are working right now with Hyperion is like a really complex business model, since our revenue streams are diversified and by niche. So we have like, we're working right now with 6 niche problematics. So it's really, it came up really like problematic to give this sense of idea. And what I understood and how we achieved to start improving my pitch was, first, keep it simple. Keep it the most basic and show the numbers that sustain your basic. But I liked in the presentations to put, well, first the problematic, that it's like the main point, and how our team is able to support this problematic. Like more important than numbers and growing rates and market value, it's have clear what is your problematic, the niche you're working with, and how your team have all the qualifications to attack this problematic. Pitch that idea first, and then go to the numbers. But the numbers as support of the main idea. But keep it the most simple. For example, for the pitch for Focari Santander, we focus only on the blocks part, not the painting. So when we pitch, we don't say like, okay, we have this research and development like branches that we are right now investigating. No, we pitch the main, like our biggest prototype that we have right now, and that can have the biggest solution to the market. So we tell the investor like, okay, we have this product, and like this product, we are developing 3 different lines that will help as this product. But keep it simple, and also having like this attitude to show them that it really is your passion about solving this problem. Because I think that's something that is really important when you're pitching your project, is that maybe you don't have the right prototype, maybe you don't have the right idea, but you have the right problematic. So if you show the people that you are pitching to that you have all your energy towards that problematic, they will tell you, okay, you will iterate eventually to have this solution for this problematic. So I think that are the points that help me like improving my pitch and being able to win the competitions.
Thank you for the response. Like from what I understand is like is setting a problem and just giving the facts and the information after like to conceive that information, to just convince the people that you're doing the right thing would help in creating some presentations that will maybe like convince the investors inside, or like and making this really understandable presentation is a really good skill according to
Yes. Also understand the competition you're working with. For example, with Hold Price, they are focused on the SDGs and how to meet the 2030 agenda. So when I pitched for Hold Price, all the model was focused on, okay, we're helping the farmers, or also we are giving housing, but also we are helping access potable water. And on the other side, when you're pitching to business angels, it changed. They want to see how this model is going to be profitable and how you are going to make money with this. So it's like, okay, the SDG is really good. There, like for example, here in Mexico, there's one called Dalus Capital. They are focused with climate tech and all that kind of stuff. But mainly the VCs are focused on, okay, make money with this. So when you pitch them, it's like, okay, in general, we are with these SDGs, but we have a market that is right now value in $100 billion, and we expect a growing rate of 5.6, you know? So have these true parts and know your audience, know who you are pitching to.
Okay, so audience determination also key. So like finding the right way and the right numericals and the right facts, assembling them together and showing it to the right audience might be the best way to just create and make a great presentation. I think people will get some help out there. Yeah, thank you. So here's something.
Is there any questions from the audience? Like only we have limited time. Like we can unmute, or like you can type in a chat, or like whatever the way. Anytime, or like you can raise your hands if you want. Then I can continue. My questions. So could you let me know about like hexa blocks? Like how did you come up with the hexa blocks? Because like in Mexico for sure, like they like a historical like history of the way of they construct the materials for sure. Like in every country, I think for sure. Also like in Japan, also like we use the rice straw for the upper roof also in the past. So like how did you come up with the idea?
Yes, it was because, well, I studied in international baccalaureate, and I had one project that was, we were working with stable structures, but just like mathematical models. So it's, we had to determine which geometry will fix like certain problematics regarding the structure. A lot of people focus on the rectangle, and so there were a variety of choices you can make, and we had to did like an extrapolation of the data to show how it will work. And I work with the hexagon, and through this first like investigation, I noted like, oh, dude, there's something here interesting. And after that, I took the project to technology design, and I started searching for materials. And there was when I noticed about this open patent that was with the plastic bottles, and I started with plastic bottles. But also was the limitations that I have in San Antonio Ticuch, because Merida is in the Mayan rainforest, so it's part of the Mayan culture. Doña Logia speaks Mayan, so sometimes this linguistic frontier is quite big, but it's also knowing like, okay, they have these climate conditions, you don't have to have specific characteristics for the material, more especially, and that's why the plastic bottles didn't work, because in the construction, they make the construction be too hot inside. And if we are talking about rainforest, it will like be impossible to live out there. And that's the point where I start like iterating. And at some point I saw an article that said that potato waste was one of the main organic wastes in Mexico, here in Mexico, because of the potato production. And I said, oh, dude, it can be really interesting. We start working with potato, like to do homes. And that was like the point of interjection. And I start working with doctors and specialists in biotechnology and tell them like, okay, I understand like the basic things that were, but potato can give you starch, but how to implement this starch in stable structures. And I sought for the specialist in the matter. Yeah.
But like, do you know how that material lasts? Like, because you just started now, so like, are you sure like how many years it's gonna last? And because potato straw like it's biodegradable. Yeah. So like when you like explain like how do you explain like this material, like how many years like you like people can be sure to.
Yes. That's one of the main problems that we have at the beginning. And the beginning, the constructions were mainly made of starch. And at some point we noticed that, okay, this won't last long since it's organic waste, and it will eventually degrade. And that's why we start incorporating natural rubber into the composition of the hexablock, because the natural rubber lasts a lot of joints, and by having this joint, we expect the hexablock without any like additional conditions to last more than 70 years. Like the limit we have is 70 years. That is really good for construction. In comparison to the regular construction of bricks, they last more than 100 years. And in order to achieve this like long-lasting materials, we develop the painting, so we can have an extra like carrying carrying material to protect the hexablock from degrading and last longer. So it's 70 years without any treatment. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Then there is one question. Like he asking in Japanese, but he wants to answer in Japanese, but like I'm going to translate. He's now 16 years old. So what do you recommend him? Like 16 years old. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. From my experience.
Oh no, it's just continue.
Continue.
Sure. And well, from my experience, there is no age to start an entrepreneur journey. My recommendation will be start with a niche problematic. Start with something that you see around, that people that you know are living with, problematic in your community. If you see waste, if you see like something around your community that is living, something that really motivates you working with, and start from that point to develop possible solutions. And like pick up a notebook and sorry, Tawako, I think you're going to write a lot. But like start from that point of a problematic you're living with, you're experiencing, and get obsessed with that problematic. Get obsessed with what people are doing. Get obsessed why this problematic exists. And after that, start developing possible solutions and have feedback from the people that are living this problematic. And that's the basic point and the most efficient point how you are going to start. Because if you start having this feedback at the early stage, you are making sure that at later stages, your solution will be viable.
Great. Wow.
I think I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So is there any other questions? We have maybe 10 minutes left. Like, can I ask in Japanese also, then we can help to translate.
Yeah, you can actually ask in Japanese.
Yeah.
Sawako-san is here.
Yeah. Like when he visited Japan, we met. So I was so surprised. Oh, this is only 19 years old.
Yeah.
But like and also like there's no like time you should start.
There's no time. We can get inspiration from the founder of McDonald's.
Yeah. Also the one of KFC, he started like I think he was like 60 years old.
Yeah, the same year. Yeah. There is no question. I think one last question I want to ask you is, what would be your long-term plan from right now? Because you went like a bit international, going to Japan, like transferring your technology there, and your technology will be really useful in some tropical areas. Like I'm thinking of like Indonesia or somewhere where like they encounter the same problems as Mexico with poverty and not much of housing and facilities. The infrastructure there would be really helpful. So,
and also like earthquake place like Indonesia or like
Indonesia. What would be your long-term goal from now on? Do you want to expand outside of Mexico, or what are you gonna do from now on? Like just tell me briefly, just tell us.
But you say you
Yes.
want to expand to the first you want to go to New York, but for a funding, right? Funding purpose. But for helping people constructions that can go to the any world, any place, right?
Yes. Well, first we want to well establish here in Mexico. Started working in Mexico mainly for this year. For the next year, start our main point of investigation and development in Japan. From the point of Japan, being able to distribute to other parts of Asia. And from the point of Mexico, start distributing to other parts of Latin America, but not as having the production line in-house, but as mainly as exportation, because having the production line in the countries, we require investment, and mainly that's why we are working in hold price to gain this funding and being able to give these solutions to other markets, because well, we need all this process of bagging the agricultural waste, processing it, and well, it's a line of production that needs the investment. It's not as fast as, for example, the software, that the software can go outside really fast and really cheap. So because of the production line, that's the plan right now we have, how to approach it.
I see. That's interesting. That's great.
So could you mention about to the audience about the collaboration with the Kobe city? Then because there are some Japanese audience, then see how it goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We have just started talking with Kobe startup ecosystem in order to start working with rice organic waste, process it, and develop our solutions in Japan to give our solutions to the Japanese market. So that's what we are right now in talks. And also it involucrates a Mexican company in Japan that is called Sucarne. So we three are working on how to develop our solutions in Japan, and in order to build a storage for the meat that Sucarne produces. So yeah, that's something that really motivates us, and I don't know, it's going to be really interesting. We have plans to go again to Japan in next year, in 2025. Yeah, to visit again and more
Visit Tongali also?
to see the whole. Yeah, sure. I will visit. Sure.
Yeah, let us know beforehand for sure.
Sure.
Come to Nagoya.
Yeah.
Nagoya is really good city.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay. If there's no question, then we can.
Okay, maybe one more.
Yeah.
Sure. How is your work life and school balance right now? And how do you want to how do you want to pursue it in the coming years? Because I think your second year in the university you'll be more burdened in the third, fourth year, and if you go above that, it will be more hectic. So how do you think of continuing this journey?
Yes, it has been getting, as we grow, it has been more difficult to work with the university. I have to make arrangements with the professors, because a lot of times I have to absent to classes to meet work stuff. That's why I told them that balance, it doesn't exist. But what I try a lot is, I don't know what is going to happen specifically with the university, but right now the university gave me a scholarship that is called entrepreneurial scholarship, and they gave me an office and facilities in the school
For
to
free?
develop for free.
Oh.
They pay the 50% of my tuition. And and they give me the facilities, and also they pay part of the journeys that I have. For example, when I have to travel to another state here in Mexico that is called Monterrey, they pay the flight ticket and the hotel and that kind of stuff. So that really helps me. But yeah, with the academic part, it's getting it's getting difficult. So I don't really know what's going to happen.
But you can write this about your company also, right? About your product or about your company, maybe.
Yes, yes. A lot of the school has helped me a lot, but in the part that, and that's why I decided to go inside the business school and not the engineering school, was because here the Tec de Monterrey, that is the school that I study with, the business school has the professors that teach there have, or they either have companies or they have work in big companies. For example, one of my teachers in marketing was the creator of, like, it's a famous figure that is called Mamalucha, that is from a big brand here in Mexico, and she developed the marketing stuff to develop this, like, it's like a character, but she was behind that. So having them as professors, but also as mentors, has helped me a lot. So I see the school more like the networking part with professors and also with the regional events. They have an event here that is called Inc. Monterrey, and it's the biggest Latin American entrepreneurship encounter. And it's in Monterrey, and my university organized it. So they give me like the facilities to go there, have like my journey and my entrepreneurship journey there, have compete with them. So like the facilities part is really good from the part of the school, but the academic part, I am in Spanish it's called matado. It's like you study a lot, like a nerd. So in the school I'm like, okay, I have to focus, and I think a great part is the support of the school. But I don't know what will happen.
Good luck. You did the right choice. Changing from finance, changing to finance, because engineering, I'm an engineer, so I can tell you how it is.
Yeah, what I thought when choosing my career was, because my dream was to study computer science engineer, because in baccalaureate I studied computer science and I love it, and I said like, oh dude, I want to study that in university. But at some point before like signing for the university, I noticed that if I study engineer, there will be a lot of people that will be better than me in engineering. Like I understand that from the first point. And if I studied finance, I can work with my journey, because numbers are like the basic part. If numbers don't work in an entrepreneurship project, it will fail. So it's like, okay, I have to have this strong and meet the people that are in engineer, because they are like, dude, they are brilliant. Like all my friends are engineers, and all the people, the people that are working right now in the project are engineers, and they're better than what I can become someday. So I understand that, and I said that it's better to team with them than to try to be a technical. So that's why.
Nice choice. Team building skills. Building skills. Nice team building skills.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it's time. So, but really, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. We keep in touch.
Yeah. Good luck with the journey.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
So we close the session. Okay. Bye-bye.
Sure. Bye.